This is about defending democracy. This is no longer Democrats versus Republicans. What do you want your kids to believe in? There must be give and take.
This is White Flag with Joe Walsh.
Yeah, I think there's going to be violence. I think these next 14 to 15 months, this campaign, we're going to see isolated incidents of violence in this country. I come from the Republican Party base. I still engage with that base almost every day. And because I still engage with that base, that radicalized base almost every single day, I'm asked almost every single day what they're thinking, where they're at. And I said this last week. I've said it before, but I know I said it last week. That Utah man, FBI shot and killed, he made direct threats to Joe Biden. That guy in Utah, he made direct threats to assassinate Joe Biden. We don't exactly know what happened when the FBI showed up outside his Utah house. Reports are that he was pointing a gun, a rifle at the FBI and refused their commands. Now stop for a moment. I found that really curious and really interesting. That older white Utah man was pointing a rifle at the FBI. He refused to do what the FBI agents told him. He continued to point his rifle, and they shot him. And the right, my former friends, supporters, and followers on the right, are angry at who? They're angry at the FBI. You follow me? Does this make sense? An old white guy points a gun at the FBI and refuses their commands. He's shot. And the right blames the FBI, which is crazy to me because the right, and I did this often, and I still say this often, when a young black man points a gun at the police and refuses to do what the police tell him to do, and the police shoot that young black man, what does the right say? What would I say? I would say that's too bad, that's unfortunate, that's horrible. But why didn't that young black man do what the police told him to do? Put your gun down and do what the cops tell you to do. That's what I always said. When a young black man was shot by the cops, that's what the right said. Whenever a young black man was shot by the cops for not following orders, the right jumped in and said, it sucks, but man, the young black guy, he should have done what the cops told him to do. But when it's an older white guy, the right gets mad at the cops. I wasn't going in this direction in this episode of White Flag, but I'm going to stay on this. I want to make this point. We are so divided politically. We're so stuck. We're so stuck with our stupid fucking partisan political talking points. We got to plant ourselves right there on our side and be as partisan and as tribal as we can be, that the exact same thing happens, the exact same event, somebody points a gun at the police, refuses to obey the cops' orders, they're shot. But because it's an old conservative white guy, I got to get mad at the cops. But when it's a young black guy, damn, that young black guy should have done what the cops said he was going to do. We're so partisan. We're so partisan that even an identical act, we have to bend over to support our side. In this case, the right. In this case, supporting an old conservative white guy. And yeah, when you do that, my friends on the right, my former supporters and followers on the right, when you do that, when you defend the old white guy and you take a shot at the young black guy, makes perfect sense that people are going to say, well, that's racist. That's bigoted. Go ahead and defend that. Defend to me how that makes sense. Defend to me how that doesn't look like it's just plain racism and bigotry. Defend the white guy. Jump on the black guy. They did the same thing. They both pointed a gun at the cops. We're so partisan. We're so locked into our side. We're so divided that even a basic example like that causes the right, in this case it's the right, to just be locked into their position, completely obliterating any sense of right and wrong, any sense of fairness. And both sides do this. I'm jumping on the right now with this example, but both sides do this. I heard plenty of people on the left when that old white dude was shot by the cops in Utah. Hey, he got what was coming to him, man. He threatened to assassinate Biden. He was pointing a gun at the FBI. He refused to drop the gun. He didn't follow their orders. Too bad, but he got what he deserved. Those same people on the left are much more sympathetic to the young black man on the south side of Chicago who's shot and killed by the police because he pointed a gun at the police and refused their orders. Both sides do this. Don't tell me both sides don't do this. And if you do tell me that both sides don't do this, well, then you are locked into you're locked into your tribe, man. You're locked into your partisan place, your box that you can't get out of, and you can't see straight, and you can't see right and wrong. See, that's the thing. When you so lock yourself into your partisan box, you can't see right and wrong. You can't see objective. You can't see fair-minded. You can't see any of that. The fair-minded, consistent position is, doesn't matter what race or color you are, doesn't matter what political ideology you hold, don't point a gun at the police. And if you point a gun at the police and the police tell you to put that gun down, damn it, put it down. Do what the cops tell you to do right then and there, no matter what race you are, no matter your politics. That's the fair, consistent, objective position. That's the position one would take when one unlocked themselves, when one freed themselves of this ugly, divisive partisanship, got out of that box, got out of that partisan box, and saw the world for what it was. Objectively, honestly, fair-mindedly. Man, you should try it. It frees you up. Because I didn't always do this. I do this now. I don't belong to a team. I don't belong to a tribe. I do it now. Something happens, man, I'm going to comment on what happened. Doesn't matter to me who the parties are. Doesn't matter who the president is. If Biden does something wrong, I'm going to call out Biden. If Trump does something wrong every time he breathes. I'm going to call out a Republican and Democrat when they do something wrong, period. When they say something wrong, period. It's a very liberating place to be. You ought to try it. Hey, former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is White Flag with Joe Walsh. I hope you enjoy this podcast. I hope you enjoy my weekly hit every Monday. I hope it gets you thinking about something. I hope you enjoy my conversations with people who disagree with me. I hope you get something out of them. I often feel like, not that I'm shouting into the wind, but I often feel like I'm just not moving the needle very much, because politically we're at war in this country and we're on the battlefield. I'm on the battlefield every day, fighting the political fight every day. And I feel like what I'm doing with White Flag is I'm trying to ask people for a moment to get off of the battlefield and to come over here, sit on the side for a moment, listen to somebody who disagrees with you, see if you can understand why they think the way they do, maybe find some common ground. I'm asking people to do that. We know we got to do that, but I'm asking people to do that while we're at war, political war in this country, and it's hard. It's hard to ask people to step off of the battlefield. And I don't know if this is the right thing to do right now. Ask people momentarily to step off of the battlefield and try to do something about how dangerously divided we are. But that's what I try to do with this podcast, White Flag with Joe Walsh. Please tell everybody you know about this podcast so that I can continue to do this podcast. I think it's important to keep it out there, because I do believe that in another few years, there'll be other voices out there doing the same damn thing, because most of us all believe somewhere inside of us that we've got to engage with the other side, that America cannot stay this divided. Thank you for listening. By the way, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please. Doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe. You'll know whenever a new video comes out, a new episode comes out. White Flag with Joe Walsh. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Thanks. Have a great week. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow White Flag with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been White Flag with Joe Walsh.